Off Your Feet by Rae K. Time, the near future, sometime in the 2020s. Place, a picturesque, romantic yet isolated overlook. A note from the playwright. The current namesakes of Konzo and Romeo are envisioned and attributed as those belonging to a male and female respectively, but their opposing genders aren't concrete. A true 21st century romance can blossom between any combination of sexual orientations. I encourage an array of couples to be portrayed through casting. Names are permitted to be changed accordingly. Romeo, a runaway bride, stands at an overlook, gazing at the sprawling, idyllic sky before her. Konzo enters.
You left me at the altar?
You found me?
But to repeat, you left me at the altar?
I'm sorry.
What did I do?
You didn't do anything.
I must have done something.
You did nothing. It's just I'm not emotionally...
Oh, no. Have I been emotionally abusive without realizing it?
What? No, not
I have, haven't I? I know we tease each other sometimes, but it's always felt more like the fifth graders, ineptly flirting and more than genuinely malicious attacks. But have I been too harsh?
Konzo, all couples tease each other.
But do I go too far? I know that your attempts at foamy macchiatos look and taste like the runoff of flooded sewer, and I say that, but I'm just joking. I'm always joking.
You're hilariously accurate.
And I know that you're always joking too, even when you punch me in the arm hard. You know, after I miss a pass, and then you tell me that you'd rather have the dog to be your teammate than me, which is fair, but then you team up with me anyway.
Everyone deserves a chance at glory.
But Romy, I never drink your coffee, I throw it down the drain. I don't show you the pitying kindness that you always have shown me and my lack of frisbee skills. I insult your macchiatos relentlessly. I'm so sorry. We're such an unequal relationship.
Konzo, I know my coffee tastes like shit. It's not that.
Then what? What? It's your cousin, isn't it? Oh. Yeah, I ghosted her friend's brother's sister because she owned like 5 million reptiles and she asked me to adopt 7 of them, and that was the second date. It was weird. I freaked out. I'm not immoral. Did I forget to send the revised draft of my apology email? Is it karma?
Konzo, it's not karma.
Then what is it? It's my personal reckoning for an unwitted sin? What have I done?
It has nothing to do with you or your actions. You literally haven't done anything to anyone ever.
But the iguanas and the macchiatos...
That is irrational guilt. Everything you do is completely, entirely benign.
Okay, fine. If it's not my actions, it must be something about my personality. Is it because sometimes in the throes of my enthusiasm during our impassioned discussions about life, I talk over you while you're eating? I can see why you would fear a future, constantly being silenced by my stupid, endless chatter. So I can't. I will change.
Never change. I love that about
Or
you.
is it my tendency to clam up when a stray cat meets me on the street? I know I should, bend down to pet it like you do, but I don't want to get rabies again. And if you're worried about me caring for a baby, holding, I try to love every living being on the planet, particularly you. Have I not loved you well enough?
You love me. I know that. I love you. You have no reason to feel so insecure.
I have every reason to feel insecure. My love, the love of my life, ditched me at the altar.
Well, yes.
Yeah, well, so why? What do I need to fix about myself?
Absolutely nothing.
Romy, that is not a good answer at all. What I need is an explanation of my flaws. I can change.
You don't need to change.
Obviously, I do. I need to. I need to be, I don't know. You tell me what I need to be. So we can get to the I do. Something about me needs to change. I get it.
You don't get it. I didn't do this because of anything related to you.
But that's impossible. Something about me must have caused you to resort to abandonment. You obviously had to escape for some reason. You evidently had to escape from me.
There is no aspect of you I'd ever want to escape from.
But you rejected me.
I didn't reject you.
Then what did you do?
Well, I didn't reject you per se.
You did. You stranded me at the altar because you found some part of me not worth marrying.
That's impossible.
Well, it happened.
But not for that reason, Konzo. Every synonym and slight variation of the words kind, empathetic, hilarious, amazing, etc. describe you. I would never be able to justify deserting you based off who you are or the iguanas you may have orphaned. Those things aren't sizable enough, if they're even existent at all, to warrant leaving you.
Sizable enough? The only factors that amount to anything in this relationship are you and me. And you can only assess one half of the faults, my fault, so I'm the problem here.
You're not the issue. You're the ideal partner.
Then, is it us together?
What?
If the dilemma isn't either of us individually, did you decide that we don't work in harmony?
What do you...
I mean, look, marriage is all about forming a more perfect union.
That's the Constitution.
Whatever. The birth of the United States government, marriage, the same things happen in an effort to become a force to be reckoned with, a formidable team. When the colonies made love to freedom and spawned the sovereign people.
Please don't sexualize the American Revolution.
The point is, America became a superpower because they merged ideas and they worked well together. Flawlessly, even. People marry each other to consolidate love and form different kinds of power, an emotional kryptonite that floods the world with possibilities. I've always thought we've done that for each other in union, but if you don't feel that way.
I agree. We're better when we're together, but the problem doesn't have to do with the function of us united or apart.
But that's what a relationship is.
Loving someone's a lot more than that.
But how we function, how we live, it all matters.
Not really.
Well, it's what's important. It's why love is coveted and chased. What happens between us now and what we have forever.
My problem's not between us. My problem's not with the present moment. It's more foundational than that. It's something that will haunt the future, that could dictate, that may be already dictating the very fabric of our connection.
Foundational? Fabric? What?
There's an inherent flaw in our love.
Since when?
Since ever.
Like the dawn of time? What, Big Bang Theory, the American Revolution?
The dawn of our time. Think about it. From the beginning.
You mean when we met?
Yes.
In April. Is this an April Fool's joke?
No,
When I was in high school, junior year, my brother, he hooked me up with the lead singer of his band on April 17th. We dated for a blissful week. And then she broke up with me at one of their practices. And after she finished saying, "You're a great person, but it just won't work. We can still be friends," my brother paid her right in front of me. And then he said, "April Fools!" Crank rollovers happen.
How much?
$7 and a couple stray dimes.
And you found it in your heart to love again.
Yes. You.
I promise it wasn't April Fool's. Konzo, consider how we met.
At a bar.
No, not where.
How?
You took an Uber and I walked from work.
No. How? We met on Tinder.
And?
That's exactly it. We met on Tinder. So we met.
Okay, I know, on Tinder.
By Tinder, via Tinder, because of Tinder. That's just it.
Well, so?
So that's all there is to it.
All there is to what?
All there is to us.
What are you saying?
That we met on Tinder.
Yeah, we established that. How does this relate to you not walking down the aisle?
So I can't walk down that aisle knowing that an app brought us together.
Sorry, what?
What I'm saying is that...
Are you telling me that you are not marrying me because of some stupid app?
Exactly. We're only together, we're only getting married because of a stupid app.
What do you mean we're only getting married because of some stupid app?
You and me, we only exist because of Tinder.
You and me, Romeo and Conzo exist because we love each other.
No, we don't.
You don't love me?
No. I mean, yes. I love you. Of course I do. But no, the love we feel doesn't account for why we're together today. We're only together because we
what?
Because we had the lame fabrication of profile pictures.
Neither of us falsified via Photoshop. And now, I know I love you so much beyond a two-dimensional photo.
Okay, but at the start, we literally only saw each other's filtered faces and how we used our 500 character count. I mean, we probably didn't even consider that. Who even has the time for bios? Realistically, how much longevity can a relationship based on first glances and speed swiping actually have?
You think we won't last? Romy, my aunts met each other on Match.com, and so did my sister-in-law and my brother, your mom. She's met at least, 5 guys on eHarmony.
5? Because none of them stuck.
My uncles found each other on Farmers Only.
But Conzo, we didn't even meet on a dating app. We met on a hookup app. A hookup app! Tinder was a platform that continues to be endlessly scoffed at and scorned. It's universally regarded as the epitome of depthless, light-based culture, a menace to society, a haunt for lustful youth.
But we're more than that.
Are we? I downloaded Tinder with every intention to sleep.
But we didn't. We waited 6 months.
We weren't supposed to last.
But we did. It's been 4 years. Our connection transcended the phone-enabled horniness it began with. We worked out. Romy, Tinder may have brought us together, but so what? Who cares?
One of my bridesmaids cares.
What?
Shani.
Why does she care? Who cares what Shani cares?
I do, and you should too. Conzo, we were getting ready, and she asked me how we met. I automatically responded, Tinder, and she totally snorted back laughter and asked me, really? I nodded, and she tried to recompose herself and act like she didn't just hardcore judge me and you and how we met. She rushed to say, oh, I didn't know that Tinder was a thing that actually worked. And you know what? Shani's right.
Yeah. I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but Shani's right. Tinder does work.
No, Conzo, Tinder doesn't work. I mean, one wrong swipe and then I could have been murdered in an alley, behind a skating rink, by a sleeper, Charles Manson cultist.
Ronya, you just went from hormone imbalances to devil worshippers in a matter of seconds. I'm not going to say that you're crazy or anything,
Conzo, you don't get it.
What don't I get? We were supposed to have been newlyweds by now. But by now, at least I'm supposed to get everything, most things about you, but this,
It was just one swipe.
Huh?
We found each other because of one swipe.
Is there something wrong with that?
Yes! It wasn't a process, it was a swipe that happened to work out. We didn't have to fight to see each other or go to extreme lengths that made time spent together sweeter and worth cherishing.
Do you regret the easy hours that we spent together, the lazy Sundays?
No, it's just all so anticlimactic.
Are you saying that you'd rather have us be in some impossible, soul-shattering situation as star-crossed lovers than automatically fulfilled?
Yes!
Why?
Because it's so much more romantic.
Then what?
Technology! A phone app, an easy conversation.
Opposed to?
Opposed to handwritten letters, insatiable yearning.
What's up with this craving for an idealistic romance?
It's not idealistic.
Then what is it?
Interesting, meaningful, consequential.
So our completely attainable happiness isn't meaningful? By whose standards? Books? TVs? Old Hollywood movies?
By the standards of every single love story ever told, a swipe is so insignificant. It's so insubstantial.
Insubstantial? For what purpose?
For the purposes of inspiration and passion. I just don't think we can sustain a life on almost nothing.
Nothing. What are you measuring the last 4 years by?
I'm measuring by my mom.
But your mom...
Exactly. She's alone. And then I look at your parents.
Are you worried about my parents' approval? They love you.
No, Konzo, yeah, our love pales in comparison to your mom and dad's, but...
Next to my uncles, my mother and father are two of the people that are most in love that I've ever met. You know, growing up around their overwhelming happiness sometimes made me gag, but when I fell in love with you, I got it. I would never settle for a love that's any less than theirs.
No, Konzo, I'm not talking about how strong or how much our love is. I know our love, but where's the strength in the beginning?
As in
what could we entrance our kids with? Nothing. It would be just like what I heard from my mom.
I never mentioned anything about the things that your mom told you when you were a kid.
Precisely, she told me nothing. Nothing except for when she'd gesture at the empty space beside her and say, "Love's not worth it," after a bad date.
And she left it at that.
Sometimes she'd leave me with the details that her latest date had gotten too drunk to drive her back to our house, so she had to walk back home, some nights all the way across town. She'd understandably stop off to her bed, but I'd hear her TV blaring rom-coms loud enough to muffle her sniffling. I decided to focus on those stories rather than my mom's personal tragedies.
Did you learn anything?
Well, apparently I developed a sense of romantic idealism. Reality always seemed to fall a bit short. Until I met
Me?
your parents.
Gross.
Their love story is one for the ages.
Don't even start.
But this is exactly my point. I could never tire from hearing your dad chuckle at how his first impression of your mom was that she looked like a raccoon with the dark, sleep-deprived circles under her eyes that he always judged as a lack of studiousness. How he was initially annoyed by your mother's enrollment as an astronomy grad because she constantly fell asleep during seminars and asked him for notes. And then I always beam when your mom sweeps in and says how one day she was fed up with your dad's scorn and grabs his hand as she describes how she yanked him to the dormitory roof with her at 3 a.m. to observe the witching hour stars. No one else had the stamina to stay up and see. And then your dad chimes in that was the beginning of her sharing a new world with him and looking like a raccoon himself. And then the start of their friendship that swelled into a love during the hiatus where your dad dropped out of grad school to move back home and help your uncle recuperate from his surgery, and on the nights when your mom breaks out her hand-drawn postcards of the stars in Europe she sent him from her study abroad, I get dizzy. And while you cringe as your dad narrates how he ran off the plane in Germany straight to Stuttgart Observatory without stopping just to give her their first kiss together, I swoon. Your parents are the prime example of a love that was built with invaluable patience and hope that waned and waxed, but ultimately enriched who they are together today. They scuffled with fate for the rings on their fingers, and now they recount their story to an enraptured audience, me, and I can't help but wonder what we tell our kids. We didn't have a sidelong glances across the classroom. We didn't have a great big romantic gesture or a contempt proven wrong as we fell in love. We swiped and happened to work.
What's wrong with that? I'm glad we did. Less strife, less raccoon, less airfare.
Less of a legend to tell?
I disagree. So what if, at first, you were swiped off your feet? You know, the sweeping came later, and that's what we'll accumulate our kids with when we sickeningly gaze at each other across the dining room table.
But we don't have a good beginning.
But we have plenty of worthy moments in the middle, plenty of sentimental souvenirs gathered on our journey together.
Like?
Well, there's the fact that I know that you actually did lie on your profile.
I didn't lie on my profile.
You did. You added 3 inches to your height.
How long have you known?
Since the 3rd date. You know, your feet got tired. You took your shoes off, and the crown of your head rose up to my shoulder, and I thought it was cute. You know, especially since I had to kind of pick you up for our first kiss, since your lips couldn't quite reach mine.
Shut up.
And if you're looking for melodrama, the moment I realized I needed you was quite cinematic, in our own unique way.
How
It
so?
was at the ultimate tournament.
Which one?
The one where I fell.
Again, which one? You've fallen a lot.
The one where you played the hero to my rolled ankle with your makeshift gauze and simultaneously saved our team, saved their asses as you coached the play and tended to my wound. Sure, you might have blown out one of my eardrums while you're screaming down the field, but you know, that was the moment that I started to fall in love with you.
Didn't I cut off your blood circulation because I was so stressed?
Which helped cut off the pain.
You were, and still are, such a winner.
Exactly. You know, that 2-inch pocket of dirt my ankle folded in was where I realized I needed you. You and your ruthlessly fierce protection. You know, it may not have been an ocean separating us, but I think you can make a movie out of that moment. I've made a life of it.
Konzo has taken Romeo's hand, which is limp with thought and light with reminiscing.
So, Romeo, we have a sealed canister of coffee beans. We have a trip in a fall, a first kiss with you in my arms, and a wedding ceremony suspended in time. Is that enough?
Hey, you're forgetting one other testimony to us.
There are countless more that you conveniently forgot today.
Touché, but no, a tremendously significant one.
What's that?
You knew where to find me.
Of course I did. This is the place.
It's where your parents showed us their stars.
That's how you remember this place? Well, I think of it as where my cell service first came back when It told me that I was matched with you.
I guess both events we associate this place with have romantic virtues.
Hey, Romy.
Yeah.
Let's detach this spot from both my parents' love story because you and the technology that may or may not have brought us together. Well, what should define where we're standing right now is whether or not this is the place where we decide to end.
That is fair.
Tell me, Romy. Will we remember this lookout as our final destination, or will we walk and talk about this as a major hilarious part of our middle?
This is not our end.
You know, this will make one heck of a story. The most drastic case of cold feet ever.
I'm going to leave when you start telling that story. Oh God. Kanzo, I haven't even... Kanzo, I'm so
No,
sorry.
don't even try. You're not allowed to apologize.
Yes, I am. I owe you at least 1,000,000 sorries. I'll be repenting until the end of my life, of our life. That is, if we still have a future together.
Of course we have a future together. Unless I have, some chance encounter on someone, with someone in a rooftop, an observatory in Paris, with somebody that I actually specifically meet in person and not online.
Kanzo, too soon.
No, you cannot say it's too soon when you started it.
Stop! I feel bad enough as it is.
But you can't feel bad about me. I am the victim here, so, I think this thing is hilarious.
It's been less than an hour since you thought I wasn't walking down the aisle and you'd been abandoned. How are you already laughing?
You'll laugh. You'll see. You know I love you. And that we are destined to be together. We're destiny, even if it doesn't have rose petals and strikes of lightning.
Kanzo holds Romia's hand.
So, do you want to go and get married?
I do.
Kanzo swipes Romia off her feet, exiting with her in his arms. End of play.